Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista. If you cannot tell, I am still pretty sick. I have been battling something since New Year's Day, and I am finally actually able to get up and kind of move around today, but I don't even know what day it is today. I think it's the 5th of January. And yeah, the last couple of days have just been brutal. Both me and Steven are kind of battling it. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a combination of like a head cold slash chest cold, muscle aches. The fever has been kind of coming and going. We have been kind of staying inside just while we've been battling this. One, because we can't really or don't really have the motivation to go outside other than to feed the chickens and deal with them. But also, I am not wanting anybody else to catch whatever this is we have. We have been living off of elderberry syrup that I made a while ago, and I made this amazing cough syrup yesterday. I got the recipe from a website called Herbal Academy. I can link it below for you guys. It is strictly a herbal medicinal cough syrup, but I took it last night and it worked almost instantaneously. I did not have to take it again since then. I may take another dose today. But I thought today I would turn the camera on because I've been sick. I don't want to say slacking on my household duties, but I've definitely neglected them because I've not had the energy to do them. So I thought today I'd turn the camera on with you guys and we'd kind of do some of the little things that I've been neglecting to do. So today I have a couple of packages of mushrooms in my refrigerator that I would like to get put into the dehydrator. I had actually bought the mushrooms with the intentions of dehydrating them because I do want to be able to use them in the month, but later in the month, and they won't stay fresh by then, and it's perfectly fine for what I'm doing with them to use a dehydrated mushroom. So I thought I would do that with you guys today. And I do need to make a batch of elderberry syrup today. We are getting low on ours, and Steven really loves it. He kind of takes it. He's been taking it twice a day to try to combat this, whatever it is we've caught. So I need to make up another batch of that. I'm just gonna put a little disclaimer right now. I am not gonna give you guys the recipe for this because I am not a trained medical, I have no medical history, I have no medical training. So I don't wanna give you guys medical advice because I'm not a trained professional. I am not a herbalist, so I don't know. Everything that I am doing is based on what my research has told me it is okay to do. I will provide the link of where I did get the elderberry syrup. It is actually from Jess over at Roots&Refuge. If you go to her website, rootsandrefuge.com, I believe it is. Again, if I can, I will leave the link below for you guys for that recipe also. She has the full instructions on how to do everything over there. So I will make it with you guys, but I'm just setting your expectations now. I'm not going to give you the ingredients while I'm making it, but I will definitely show you guys how I'm making it. So I want to get that done also. Okay, I want to get these mushrooms put into the dehydrator so that they can kind of do their thing all day. I just have a little wet, damp cloth here, and I'm just going to kind of mushrooms cleaned off a bit. So we are on day 5 of the 3 Rivers challenge, so the pantry challenge. I was completely derailed with this sickness, and I have gone so far away from what I had originally planned on doing for meals. I think I've only made 2 meals off of my meal plan so far, which is fine. We are still 100% eating from the pantry. Like, I am using what we have. So that's good that we haven't had to, even in sickness, probably wouldn't go anyways because we're not feeling well, but we haven't gone to the store. So I have not taken any meat out of the freezer, and I looked to see kind of what was on the menu for tonight, and it was tamale pie made in the slow cooker. I am not really feeling like a heavy chili based dish. I think it's still kind of pushing it a little bit. I just want to let you guys know that I have, even though I've been sick, I have been videoing the minimal meals that we have been making. Like I had said in my last video, I am going to be putting a video out every Monday, just kind of highlighting for you guys what I am making through the pantry challenge. They're not all, the Monday videos will not be like in-depth tutorial videos. They're just going to be kind of like a what we eat in a week style video where I'm just highlighting really quickly some, sorry, the cat is just trying to claw out the window, so I'm just trying to see what she was doing. They'll just kind of be like a what we eat in a week video, just kind of showcasing and showing you guys what I did end up making for the pantry challenge. But throughout the challenge, I will have videos like the one that I posted on Wednesday, just kind of giving you guys a little bit more in depth to some of the recipes that I am making. So just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up with that. But yeah, so I have definitely gone off the rails when it comes to my meal plan, which is expected when you are completely stuck in bed sick. So the whole point to this is that I don't know what I'm making for supper tonight. I'm not feeling something super heavy. The last couple of days I have been craving steak, and so last night I looked in the freezer and we had some beef fillets that I had actually had in there for a very long time. We don't tend to eat that cut of meat. I don't know why, because it is delicious. It's so buttery and tender, but we just don't gravitate to it. So I had a whole bunch of packages sitting in the freezer and I was craving steak for the last 2 days, which for me, that indicates that my body is telling me that I need to get some iron in my body. So I made some steak last night for supper, and it was delicious. And I did film it so you guys can see kind of a quick version of that. But yeah, I just need to kind of maybe go with you guys and look through the freezer and see if we can get any inspiration for a quick meal tonight, because I'm still, again, not feeling 100% there yet. Look at this mushroom. It's got 2 stems to it. So all I'm doing, I don't like the woody part of the stem, so I always just take them off. They're not my favorite part. I've always, unless it's like this, where it's like flush with it, then I won't take it out. But otherwise, I take them out when I do these with mushrooms. So I have my dehydrator trays right here. I also have my dehydrator preheating already. I'm just gonna check these. I'm gonna say maybe 12 hours, and then after 12 hours, I'll check and see if they're dehydrated enough. I absolutely love dehydrating food, but in the summer here, it can be very frustrating because we have such high humidity that I am finding that I have to almost dehydrate things twice as long. So I am hoping that by doing this in January, our humidity level, I mean, it is pretty low right now. So, well, just because of the rain that we've had. That's what I'm saying, it's pretty low. But our humidity level is not the beast that it is in the summer. So I'm hoping that these will dehydrate a little quicker than they would in the summer. This is also an excellent, and I have done this in the past, this is also excellent if you can get those deals. So I know sometimes at grocery stores, they have these mushrooms that are starting to go. They have them marked down sometimes to under 99 cents. And in the past, I have grabbed them. I remember one time, I think I bought like 6 or 7 of the cases of mushrooms, and I dehydrated them all, and they were so perfect to use throughout the year, especially now that I'm making my own like concentrated cream of mushroom soup. They're perfect for that. So I had bought 6 cases of them, and I just dehydrated them all, and I used them throughout the year. It was amazing to have just dehydrated mushrooms on my shelf. So that is definitely a good money-saving trick. But these I didn't get on sale. I just knew that I needed to have them in a recipe later this month, so I wanted to get them in the dehydrator so they could stay fresh. Not fresh, I mean shelf stable. So I'm just gonna get these finished cutting up, and then we'll get them in the dehydrator. Okay, so I have my 3 trays of mushrooms, 2 little cartons of mushrooms, only did 3 trays on here. And I'm gonna try to get them really spread out because I don't want them really touching each other. I could probably use another tray here. I'm gonna go grab another tray. I just don't want them really touching each other because then they'll dry faster. I want them really spread out. And I am just using the Excalibur dehydrator. It is, how many trays? 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 9 tray one. I absolutely love it. This is how I dry a majority of my herbs in the summer. I just put them in here, and it's been working great for me. I think one thing that I'm actually wanting to experiment with this dehydrator is I want to make some fruit leather. I have been seeing some, I'm gonna get another tray here. I pack these way too close together. I have been seeing a lot of people making fruit leather, and I have some apples in the fridge that I bought when the kids were here. Kids love apples, so I bought a whole bunch for when they were here, and we actually didn't end up eating very many of them because we were eating a lot more oranges and junk food, which is probably why I got sick. If you follow me on my Instagram, I had actually said that I am 100% convinced that this, whatever it is I caught, was 100% my poor eating habits during the holidays. I definitely am one for enjoying the sweets over the holidays, but I definitely took it overboard and I ate way too much sugar. And my body, I know it. I am well aware of it, that my body cannot handle that amount of sugar, and I did not listen to it, and now I'm sick. And it happened last year too, I remember. I got sick almost at this exact same time last year, and it was because I overindulged in sweets for the holidays. Okay. Put this on and let them do their thing. I have this set at 125 degrees, and right now it's at 22 hours, but I don't think I'm gonna need to have it the full 24 hours. I think, like I said, I'm gonna probably check it later this evening or early this evening and see what it's at. So we need to get this elderberry started because it does require a little bit of steeping time. It's got to boil down, so I want to get that started. So I'm just gonna go and grab all the ingredients to make that. Okay, what I actually want to do before I get started on this elderberry, and I was just thinking about it as I started to get all my ingredients for the elderberry out, I am gonna make carbonara for supper tonight. So I need to go out and quickly grab some bacon from the freezer so that it can defrost all day. I just thought that is a super light, delicious meal that we can have tonight because, like I said, I'm not really 100%. I'm not feeling like a heavy meal, so carbonara it is. We have eggs because the chickens are now again starting. You know what? They never actually stopped laying, and the reason is because we actually have we got spring chickens last year, and so they just started laying come winter. So I had egg production through the whole winter, but now my other girls that were kind of on a winter hiatus, they're starting to lay. So we're good for eggs. So I'm gonna make some carbonara. Just pull out some bacon here. This is just some bacon that we made a while ago. I'm just looking through the freezer to see if I can get any other ideas. I think this is just good. This is why I love the pantry challenge, because it's like really forcing me to kind of use my imagination. Not that I would have gone to the store in this situation. I guess the pantry challenge for me is kind of weird because I really don't go to the grocery store a lot. It's not one of the, it's not something that I regularly do anyways. I'm either at the farmer's market, I do my Azure Standard. Okay, so we've got this out defrosting, so that will be ready for tonight. And I'll bring you guys along when I make it. It is a very quick meal. It comes together very quickly. So we will do that later on tonight, right before we're ready to eat. And I'm probably gonna do some kale with that also, but I'll just do that on the side. Okay, now for the elderberry. Okay, I got everything all ready. I'm just gonna get it all on the stove here. I tell you one thing. 2 months ago, I bought 2 1-pound bags of ginger from Azure Standard, and I was like, I just felt a need to get that ginger. I mean, I had plans for some of it because I do use it to make my lemon ginger kombucha, but I was like, after I ordered, I'm like, why did I order so much ginger? And I tell you, the Lord was putting it in my home for a reason, because I have been living off of ginger the last week. I have been using it in so many of my teas and my tinctures that I know why I ordered that much ginger, because it has just been a blessing to have that much in my home. I store my ginger in the freezer because it makes it really easy just to peel it and then to grate it. Whereas sometimes if you put it in your fridge, it gets kind of soft, and number one, it doesn't last as long. But yeah, it's super easy to grate when it's frozen, and it helps it keep forever. Well, not forever. It doesn't last that long in my house, but it helps it keep a long time. So like I said, I'm not going to give you guys the recipe for this. I'm just going to kind of I'm just, as you can see, just throwing it all on my stovetop. I will leave the link below for it though. It is from Roots&Refuge. She does have an excellent article on that, which includes the recipe and how to make it. So I will leave that for you guys though. I am getting low on rose hips, so I need to order some. But that will not happen until probably March, because my next Azure Standard order is supposed to go in at the end of January. And because we are doing the pantry challenge, I'm not going to end up ordering anything, because I would have to end up paying for it in that month. So I don't want to do that. I'm really trying to stick true to this. So I'm not going to get a shipment in February. So the next time I'm going to be getting an Azure Standard order is going to be in March. So the rose hips will have to wait. I don't think that I am going to necessarily do the pantry into February. I know some people are doing January and February, but I think for me, because this is the first year that I'm really dedicating myself to doing it. I have tried to do it in the past, but it's just like, it's not, life just ended up happening. Like I wasn't able to stick to it because of either travel or something ended up happening that I wasn't able to kind of do it completely. So I'm really wanting to stay focused this month and do it. And so I'm kind of just committing to the month of January, but if I can get it into February, that's even better. But right now my goal is January. So there's just a couple of stems in here that just trying to get out from the elderberry. I just got to bring this to a boil and then drop it down to a simmer and leave it simmer uncovered. That is very important, to leave it uncovered. So we'll just bring that to a boil. get everything cleaned up over here. I had so many things that I wanted to make with you guys this week, and this sickness has just completely I have no energy. I really wanted to can some chickpeas with you guys because I wanted to make some hummus, but like I said, no energy. I definitely don't have energy to be canning. The other thing I really need to kind of get made is some mustard. I used a whole bunch of my mustard when we were curing those hams for Christmas, and yeah, so I wanted to can some up with you guys. So maybe next week when I'm feeling a little bit more better, we can get those projects done together because I really want to get some canned chickpeas on the shelf. My elderberry syrup is all done. I'm just waiting for it to cool so that I can get it straining, and then I'm going to add some honey to it. So that needs about probably, I would say, maybe 45 minutes just to cool down. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I am actually going to get some sprouts started. Because my whole garden died in that Arctic cold snap that we had during Christmas holidays, I have no greenery left. I had some lettuce that was a really good variety that could handle cold, but it could not hang with that kind of cold because that was really cold. So everything died, even my really extremely frost hardy kale died. So I have no greenery, which is really disappointing because I really like to have that just to kind of go out and have that nutrition during the winter. But we're gonna make do, and I have some sprouts on hand. I have been making sprouts for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years maybe. I've been making them for a while because I absolutely love them. I love to have them on just everything. They're perfect on hamburgers, sandwiches, salads. They're amazing. They're little nutrient dense amazingness. So I'm gonna get some of these started. Now I am making them in pint size jars. What I will show you guys is I'll come back and show you in a different video what they look like because they take about 3 to 7 days before they're actually ready to eat. And it is a daily requirement. So you do have to rinse every single day. But I'll show you right now. I'll kind of do like a little mock-up of what it is going to be like, what I'm going to be doing every day to them. So today I'm going to be making some mung beans. These I actually just purchased on Amazon. I haven't looked on Azure Standard yet to see if they have these. I'm pretty sure they do. I did get these ones on Azure Standard. These ones are just a crimson clover. I've not had this kind before. My favorite beans to sprout are the mung beans because these are like a bean sprout. So, you know, like things in like stir fries, chow meins, things like that. That is the bean that I use in that. And then I have some alfalfa sprouts also. I did purchase these ones on Amazon also. I can leave the link for these two if you are interested. But like I said, Azure Standard does have sprouts there. They were all out of stock of the alfalfa ones, so I wasn't able to get them on there, but I did get these crimson clover one. Broccoli, radish, all those are really good to sprout. To each one of these pint-sized jars, I am only using pint size because it is just me eating them. If the kids were here, because Kayla does also like sprouts, my daughter, I would actually be making these in quart jars. And I actually usually do make them in quart jars. But since it's just me eating them, Stephen doesn't like them, so I'm going to do in pint-sized jars. So I am just going to take, I don't know, maybe half a tablespoon, 3/4 tablespoon, and put some of the crimson clover in this one. And then I will take, again, same amount, 3/4 tablespoon, and put it into this jar. Now you may think, well, that's not a lot of sprouts. Sprouts last in the fridge for about a week at max. So I don't want to make too much away. I guess I could always give them to the chickens if I don't eat them all, but anyways, we'll just use this amount. So when doing bean sprouts, it is very much like a fermentation. You want to have a warmer environment to cause them to sprout. So, sorry, I'm just boiling water back there. I'm watching it. I'm making some kombucha. So you want to have a warm environment when doing them. If you are doing it in the winter in a colder environment, so like for me, my house is usually around 67 right now. Mung beans are good for that because they are a quick sprouting thing. Things like broccoli, radish, those take a little bit longer to sprout. So in the colder environment, that's going to take a longer time to get that to actually develop. So I am sticking to ones that are going to sprout fairly quickly. So I'm going to add, this is just some filtered water, and I'm just going to add about that much to it. So just like that. And then all I'm going to do is just put a mesh. This is just some mesh that I think I actually bought this on Amazon, and it comes in really large sheets. I use this in my dehydrator when I'm doing things like cherry tomatoes because they leave a huge mess on that mesh liner, so I wanted to have something else to use. So that's why I bought these, but they work for this. So I just cut a little strip. I have a wide mouth rim that I'm just gonna put on top of this. And we are just gonna let this sit for 24 hours. What we're doing is we are just letting this soak. So we're gonna do the same for these. Just fill it to that and put the lid on. And again, 24 hours, we're gonna let it soak. So you wanna keep these like a fermentation, you wanna keep it out of direct sunlight. You wanna keep it, again, in a very warm spot out of direct sunlight. Okay, so after 24 hours of letting this soak, you are going to come and you are going to drain all the water out of it. So you're left with this. With the lid on, you are going to take filtered water and you're just going to pour it over top of the jar. I like to give it a little just shake, not aggressive. You're just trying to get it all, you know, rinsed off, and then you're just going to drain it again. All you're doing is rinsing, draining, rinsing, draining. So you're gonna do that once a day. So again, this is after the initial 24-hour soak. You are going to come, drain all that water out, put fresh water in, and immediately rinse it out. So we are rinsing. Then what you are going to do after you rinse it, and I'm just bringing you guys down here so that you can see a little bit. You are going to set your jar. You can put it in a bowl, and you just want to have it on an angle like this. And the reasoning is because you want all of that water to drip away from them because you're just wanting these to remain a little bit wet so that they sprout. So you want to have it on an angle so that all the water drips from it. Now, one thing that I got on Amazon was, I think the intention of these is a cell phone holder or an iPad holder. It has a little bit of a lip on it. I can see if I can find them on my Amazon and link them for you guys. But all as I do is I just put the jar in like that. I put a napkin underneath it, and that's how I leave it. So then every single day at around the same time, I'm gonna come, take my jar after it's been sitting like this, put fresh water in it. Preferably do this over the sink because as you're seeing it does drip everywhere. I'm gonna put fresh water in it, give it a little shake, and then drain. And then just set them like that. So I do this until I notice that they are kind of sprouted to what I like. Usually it takes, in my temperature of a house, usually takes about 5 days. And I want to keep this out of direct sunlight. One thing I've also heard of is after they have sprouted and you notice that they're not green, because if you see, I don't know if you can see on this picture, but right here, there's kind of some pictures of them. They can turn like a white color. And that's fine because you've been sprouting them in with no sunlight. What you can do is actually put them in your windowsill for about a day, and that will actually cause the sprouts to get green. Now you just want to pay attention and make sure that they're not molding or anything. And I would not think to put it in blaring hot sunlight either, because that wouldn't be necessarily good for them. But I have heard put them in your windowsill for about a day and it will cause them to get green. So I am gonna get these guys doing their 24-hour soak so that I can get to enjoy these in about 5 days. But I'll come back and show you guys after 5 days what they end up looking like. This is a very good option for winter fresh eating. If you want to have some fresh greens, these are super good idea to do that. The other thing that I've actually been thinking about starting as well is microgreens, because that's another really good option to kind of get my vegetables in the winter, because I don't necessarily always like having frozen broccoli and frozen kale and canned stuff. I really do like to have a variety of fresh stuff. So these are really good ways to kind of get that freshness in your diet. So let me get these soaked. Now comes the really messy part of making elderberry syrup. My hands usually stay dyed for like 3 days after this. All I'm doing is just picking out the cinnamon sticks. I'm just gonna strain it now. Actually, before I strain it, I just need to mash it. It gets like a super thick consistency. I don't know if you can see or not. It's already pretty mushed. I'm just going through a little bit more. This will most likely dye this spoon. It is very, very bright. Very staining. I don't think I'm going to use this. I didn't use it last time. Okay, crisis averted. Stink bug is out outside. So I'm just going to strain this. It's definitely a good project to do when you actually have some strength. I don't have a lot of strength right now. I don't know how much is going to get strained out of here. It does actually say you need to squeeze this through this cheesecloth. That's why I'm doing this. You can't just, it's so thick that I don't think you would really be able to let it drip through. I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it for my level of strength today. I'm just gonna add honey to it, and then I'm just gonna stir it and then get this put into the fridge. And then I think I'm actually gonna go and lay down because I'm feeling a little bit feverish again. And it may be because I'm doing too much work. So I think that's my body telling me that you need to go and lay down. So I am gonna go and probably have a tea, lay down, and then I will come back and show you guys what I am making for day 5's supper of the pantry challenge. Well, I guess you already know because we've got the meat out, but we'll do that together. But I know I definitely need to go and lay down. Just get this poured into here. This is how I store this stuff. And I just put it in the fridge. And she does mention that it will last for a few months in the fridge, but we usually have this gone before it's close to expiring. So I will see you guys back then when it comes time to make supper. Okay, it is now time to get supper started. Definitely feeling a little bit more refreshed. So I guess the first thing I want to get done is getting the kale rinsed off. This is just some kale that we got from a local farmer's market because, like I said, all my stuff died. So I'm just going to get this rinsed off. Just put it in my salad spinner. Quick couple spins. I'm actually going to go and get my apron on. I realized when I was rewatching that video this afternoon of me making the elderberry syrup that I have a lot of aprons and I should have been wearing one. So I'm going to go and get one on right now. Not that this recipe is going to be messy, but I tend to make a mess. Okay, so these are all rinsed off. I'm going to do a little bit more than that because kale really, really breaks down. So this bag is perfect size for me and Steven. Okay, that is rinsed. We'll just leave that aside. I need to get the water started for the spaghetti. We've got a pot of water here. So turn that on, and then I got my spaghetti here ready to go in. We'll also need some salt for that water. We need to grate 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay, so I think I'm gonna use this. Normally I would use this side or my zester, but I think this should be fine for this recipe. And it says 1 cup. You could use like that pre-made, you know, grinded stuff if you didn't have, like, this is just a block of Parmesan, but I would imagine that pre-grated stuff is perfectly fine also. I think that's about 1 cup, probably more. If you haven't noticed already when watching my videos, I tend to use a lot of cheese because I like it. So we need to get this bacon frying up. This recipe I am using is from a website called Simply Recipes. I will leave the link for you guys for this carbonara recipe. So what we need to do is we need to dice up some bacon, which I have right there. It's all thawed out. The normal thing you would use is pancetta, but we don't have any pancetta, so we're going to use this bacon. So we need to get this diced up because we need to add it to this pan right here. It says half a pound of bacon or pancetta. This is 12 ounces, so we're using a little bit more than half a pound. We like bacon, and this is stuff that we cut our own, so it's kind of like bacon ends, so it's already almost cut up for us. Okay, so we are going to turn this on to medium, and we are going to add about a tablespoon of butter to it. You can also use oil in here if you like, but I like to use butter. Just took the butter off for a minute because our pasta water is boiling. So you want to heavily salt this water. This is not the easiest container to get these spaghettis out of. Should be enough. I want to make enough so that we have some for leftovers tomorrow. Just giving it a stir so it doesn't stick together. The recipe calls for 1 pound of pasta. I don't think I might use 1 pound, but that's fine. All right, so let's get this butter back on to this element. Again, we just have it at a medium heat. So I'm gonna add this bacon now. We are gonna cook it until it's crispy. Okay, so while that pasta is coming to al dente and the bacon is cooking, we are gonna get 4 eggs cracked into here, and then we're gonna add the cheese into this bowl also. But before we add the cheese, we're just gonna beat the eggs really well. Now these are actually eggs that I went and got today for my chickens, so they are fresh eggs. I wanted to make sure I was using the freshest eggs for this recipe. I was gonna measure it. Let's just see how much I actually grated. I did not grate much over a cup, so maybe we'll just leave this to top our stuff with. So we're just gonna mix that in and put this aside. This is starting to get crispy, so we want to add a teaspoon of garlic to this, and this is just this stuff that I got at Costco, this pre-minced stuff. You're almost at al dente. Stuff kind of moves quickly in this recipe. Okay, I'm gonna add the teaspoon of garlic. And we're just gonna saute it just for a minute. That's good. And then we're gonna take it out and we're just gonna add it to this bowl. Don't want all that grease in there though, so maybe I do. It adds some good flavor. There's quite a bit of grease in there already. So we're gonna take, this pasta is ready. So we are going to take it off of the heat. I'm gonna drain it. And all I'm gonna do is take the pasta, dripping wet, and just put it into this bowl. I want some of that water in there. And I'm not gonna drain this water just yet, because I might need it for the end. I'm gonna set this aside for a minute. Okay, just toss this really quick, and then we're gonna add in that egg and cheese mixture. I don't want it to be too hot because I don't want to curdle the eggs, but I also can't have them too cooled down because I need it to cook the eggs. It's like a happy medium. That's why I'm so intimidated to always make this recipe. Just wanting that cheese to get melted. So I'm gonna add some salt and pepper to this because we haven't added that yet. And we like a lot of pepper. Now this is a little bit more yellow than normal because we are using our farm fresh eggs, and those yolks are a little more yellow than a typical store-bought egg. That turns out super good. So we do not need any more of this because that is runny enough. Those were fairly large eggs that I was actually using in that, so I probably should have only used 3 eggs because it is a little bit more liquidy, but it is fine. It's gonna sit there while we get that kale cooked, so it'll absorb some more of that extra liquid. And I did keep this reserved to put on the top. So this is the pan that we just fried that bacon in. So there is some bacon grease left in it. It's perfect. We're gonna fry the kale up in that with that garlic. So I'm just getting this kind of re-hot. I have it on medium. Okay, let's get it hot. Need some tongs for this. You know what? I'm actually gonna add probably a little bit more butter to it. And then we're just gonna add the kale to it. This is not the most healthiest way to eat kale, but this is the way that I've gotten Steven to eat it, so it works. Making sure it's on low. I do not want to burn it. So just let it cook there for a minute or two. So I just got out some bread. I made this loaf yesterday, so it's still kind of semi-fresh. Now these are almost done. What I'm gonna do, because they are at the last, like they're pretty much done, is now I'm gonna add some salt to them. So I wanna show you guys that big, huge bag of kale resulted in this tiny little bowl of kale. It wilts so much. So I just have to get the bread sliced up now, and then supper is all ready. That was day 5 of the pantry challenge. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye guys. Here's the final plate. I put some Parmesan on top of that. I have my bread and my kale. So I'm gonna go and sit down with my water and relax for the night. Thanks again guys for watching.